guys, hey 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 guys.
If I were to start over in Canada with what I know today, I would have saved myself 5 years of pain. This video is not about hockey or maple syrup. It's about what really matters in order to thrive and not just survive in Canada. Before I get into my lessons for, in the last 5 years that I've learned in Canada, I just want to first, for anyone who has not been following me for a while, I want to talk about, who I am, when I came to Canada, why am I making this video, how am I qualified? So I'll just give you high level things on myself. I landed in Canada March of 2020. I'm 37 years old. So it's not like, I just went straight out of college and, I came to Canada. I had 10 years plus of experience in market research. So I came with a lot of skills. I landed in, one day before the pandemic. So obviously the job market was dried up. I did not get a job for the first 5-6 months. My first job was in fact July 2020. I came in March. July was my first job. I worked with Walmart as an insights manager. I worked in research and my first salary was $75,000. Obviously, it was annual salary. I got promoted multiple times before quitting in November 2021. Obviously, I was overqualified for the job. So I did get, multiple promotions and my salary increased by a lot. So a lot of people say that, salaries don't increase in 1 year that much, 3, 4, 5% increase. I got an increment of over 50% in 1 year. This is all real story. Obviously, I can't prove your T4s and anything. You just have to take my word for it. But this is my life, right? This is how it's transformed. I did start multiple side hustles. I have a YouTube. Used to have a YouTube channel. It was called Potato Talkies. I quit that channel. We started a Can Guide app. It had 150,000 downloads. We had some sponsorships. That's one of the other revenue streams that we had in the last few years. And then I started something called as First Job Accelerator, where I used to do live trainings and live course on how to get your first job in Canada. I then settled into a mortgage career in 2022. And I made $500,000 in the first year. And before you say that it's impossible, especially if you are a mortgage agent, struggling to make ends meet, I already created a personal brand before I got into the mortgage industry. So people already trusted me. And again, I'm 37. I'll be turning 38. So it's not like I did not come with a lot of experience. And I understood marketing and branding. 2025, I now have a 7-figure business across, real estate, both on the buying, selling side as well as on the mortgage side, and I have multiple investments in Canada and US. I am living in my forever home right now, and all this happened in the last 5 years. Obviously, it's the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot more learning that I had from my previous businesses before I came to Canada. I had an entire life there. Maybe a video for another day. And if you have been following me for a while, you already know those stories. But that's me and why I'm qualified to make a video that I'm making today. Just a few more caveats before I get into the lessons. No, I do not come from a business background. My mom was a teacher. My dad worked in insurance for, the government in India. Now, there is one amazing thing that is in my life, which a lot of people don't have. A lot of people are not lucky to have. That is a really supportive spouse. And I'm not just saying that to flatter her. I'm saying that because she has been a support for the last 11 years. I started all my businesses with Simran. Simran is an app developer, so that gives me an edge, me being a marketeer. She stepped up into a high-paying job when I left my job in 2021, end of 2021, and now she left her job to support my business, support my system, support my operations, all the events that you see around. It's all Simran who is doing all of it. This video is about 5 brutal truths that I've learned in Canada, but if I were to make a video on life, choosing the right spouse would be right at the top. But that's not the topic of the video, so let me first get into the first lie, the honeymoon lie. I think when we see Canada, and you've seen our videos as well, again, we came in COVID, so there was a lot of struggle. But when you see Canada on vlogs, you see that everything is amazing. People are enjoying Canada. Things have changed a lot in the last, few years, where there is a lot of negativity that's coming on the internet. But the lesson is Canada is not a dream. It's a system that we need to learn and master. Everyone arrives chasing a lifestyle, but that lifestyle comes at a cost. If you want to buy a fancy car, there will be a mortgage associated with it, a loan associated with it. If you want to live in a fancy house, there will be a massive mortgage that's associated with it. If you want to travel, there is a cost associated with it. So lifestyle comes at a price. But the thing that most new immigrants, including us, made a mistake was that we actually rush into everything in our first year. We need to take a pause and start decoding how Canada works. And we need to accept that they allowed us in for a reason. And the reason was that they are not able to pay for the old age security, and they need more young people to pay taxes in order to fund their system and the old age security. Nothing wrong with that, but all I'm saying is immigration is a system, it's a business, and there's a reason why we are being let into Canada. And our value is measured in credit score, tax returns, and employment type. So we'll start with the easiest one. The biggest tip I can give you in your first year is build a Canadian paper trail from day one. Get a credit card, and both you and your wife, irrespective of whether you're working or not, should get a credit card and start a credit profile. You need to file taxes. Even if it's zero tax, just file those taxes. It helps you when you're buying your first home, or if you're taking any kind of credit in Canada, and start saving into TFSA, RRSP, FHSA. I have made multiple videos on this. There's so much available on the internet. Start learning about all these things. These are registered accounts. If you are in Canada, you would want to at least plan for how to retire, and all these accounts will help you retire there. And you should not be making any rash moves. There are people in our lives, in our friend circle, who are already well settled in Canada, and we should not give in to the FOMO and buy that home when we are not ready to do that, or buy that fancy car. Their life is very different from ours, and therefore we should not make any rash moves in our first year. We should not even think about anything like that. The second thing is survival is expensive. And the lesson that I learned was, if you do not master money, Canada will swallow you whole. It's just the brutal truth, because even if you're making $5,000 a month, let's say as a household, or if you're single making $5,000 a month, it just isn't enough, and we are always stuck in that rent, bills, grocery loop. It's just, hand to mouth. Every month we get paid and everything goes, there's no saving towards home, and we just feel strangled and want to go back. The tip that I'll give you is that you need to track your expenses from day one. I've been doing that for the last 5 years, and it's really helped me get ahead on my finances. It's a very simple thing. It feels like, there are not many expenses, especially in the beginning. You only, hardly have 5-6 expenses or 5-6 line items. Now I have hundreds of line items on my credit card bill. But when you are coming here, make a habit of tracking your expenses. You can go to my website and, download the tracker that I have, or you can use an online tool. There's so much, technology nowadays available. The second thing that I would encourage you is learn about different registered. I did not say invest into registered accounts. I'm saying learn about different registered accounts like TFSA, RRSP, RESP, FHSA. I've made videos on all of these. You just need to understand when to open what, when you are ready, right? When you have the money, when you have access money, in your bank account after your expenses, that's when you start to do that. But learn about all these things. Learn about mortgages. Even if you're not buying, learn about mortgages, because someday you'd want to buy, especially if you want to retire in Canada, you'd want to do it mortgage free, and you need to learn about mortgages. And you can book a call from the description. And you can book a call even if you are 1 year away, 2 years away from buying a home. Current situation, we'll at least be able to let you know, what all changes you need to make in your finances in order to maximize your down payment and maximize the other advantage that you have, when you're buying your home. You need to have a singular focus. I'm saying you need to learn all of these things, but you have to have a singular focus, and that is to upskill and improve your household income to $150,000 plus. And it's not just about buying your first home. Obviously, if you are earning more money, you will be able to buy your first home, sooner, but that's not it. And I'll talk about that in my fourth, lesson, where I say that real estate is rigged in Canada. But the reason why you do that is because it gives you the freedom to actually enjoy Canada. Travel a little bit, get a car and, explore the north. It gives you the ability to go out of the rat race of just, paying for expenses and not saving enough, to getting to a point where you can start investing a little bit towards your retirement. So one singular focus, and that is to improve household income to $150,000 plus. The fifth thing when it comes to money is, if you're a couple, you need to combine your finances. And I'm not saying that, the Dave Ramsey way that, you should be combining your finances. I'm not talking about principally. Me and Simran have always combined, our finances, because principally we agree that it's our expenses, it's our our money, it's our salaries, it's our future, it's our home. But in Canada, when you're coming as an immigrant, you're actually leaving a lot behind. And therefore, it's very important that you build your life together. It's not like you can buy your own homes. It's not like you can buy your own, cars immediately, at least. So it's important that because all of those expenses are as a family, it's important that you combine your finances from a salary point of view as well as from expenses point of view, because you're only going to buy one home and that will be in a joint name, unless, like you have another arrangement, which I'm not aware of. But in most people would buy their first home in joint names. And it's important that because all those expenses, the big expenses, will be common, it's important that you combine your savings, combine your expenses, combine your debts, so that you have a much broader understanding about your finances as a family. And the sixth thing that I'll encourage everyone to do is open a high interest savings account, both for you and your spouse. If you're two people in a family, I use EQ Bank to do that, and that allows me to not only save for emergency fund. That's very important. You need to save for emergency fund. You need to save for, at least in this market, 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses, and it will only happen if you are tracking your expenses. So I'll take you back to the first point where I asked to track our expenses from day one. So make sure that you have 3 to 6 months of emergency fund before you even think of doing anything else, and that includes investing. Do not invest anything if you don't have 3 months of expenses saved in a high interest savings account. Do not think of even buying a home or even thinking of, like looking at homes on House Sigma or whatever app, your friend told you about. It's just not worth it. The third thing that comes is, again, not real estate. It's about learning. And this is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in the last few years is your job is not your value. Your skills are. You're valuable in your job for your skills, and not because the job has something that you are, it's about your skills. And those skills are most of the times transferable. I'll explain you with my example. So my day job when I was working was insights manager at Walmart. So I was handling their insights replenishment team, supply chain team, for those of you who don't understand what replenishment is. I used to crunch numbers. I used to love that. I used to make insights presentations. I used to manage a small team. There was stakeholder management because I had bosses and I had, multiple stakeholders in the company who I was presenting to. And my top 3 meta skills, if I were to break the reason why I was good at my job and got a 50% hike in the next, 1.5 years was because I had these 3 meta skills that I was very good at. I was analytical. So I was extremely analytical, and that was, the need of the job, but I was very analytical. I am very analytical. I was very articulate. I'm able to make those presentations, compress a lot of information into, 4 or 5 slides that actually help you make a decision. So I was very articulate, and I am a good storyteller. And you can see that in my presentation as well. I hope you agree with that, but I'm a good storyteller. So those were my meta skills that are very transferable to what I'm doing right now, making YouTube videos, doing doing mortgages for people, helping explain very complicated jargons in very simply, being very analytical about what they are buying, very numbers driven, being very articulate in the way I communicate. So all these skills are now being used in my YouTube career as well. So I would encourage everyone to take a piece of paper and then divide those into 3 columns, and the first column will be my day job, whatever your day job is. The second column will be your meta skills. Why is it that you're good at your job, or why is it that your bosses keep promoting you? And the third one that I would highly encourage that you do is, what do I love doing? And the reason is that if you don't do what you love doing, you'll always feel the need to complain about your job or your life. And that's why I have this third column, which is a little bit unconventional, but these are the things that I love doing. I love crunching numbers. That's why I love my job. I love cricket. Nothing to do with, what I was doing, but I love cricket. I love teaching. For the longest time, by the way, I wanted to be a cricket statistician, so I love numbers, and I applied to ESPN Cricket Info, many times. But I love teaching. I love personal finance and investing. I love spending time with my family. I love traveling. So you just write the things that you absolutely love, and then what I would encourage you is that you look at the sheet and then write things that you can actually do with your meta skills, that have come from your day job. And if you marry that with what you love, what is it that you can actually do? So I can be a YouTuber. Great. I can crunch numbers. I can be analytical. I can make value add videos, and I can do that on YouTube. Amazing. I can start an online course and teach. For example, I started First Job Accelerator. I've done multiple courses along the way. In fact, if within Grow Nation, I also do multiple courses which my client group has access to. But I can do online courses and I can teach, which I've done in the past. I can open a research agency. I can start a research agency because I understand research. I've worked in the largest research agency in the world. But yeah, that's another thing that I can start. I can do freelance cricket statistician. I talked about being a cricket statistician. If I ever have unlimited time, I would probably start like a analytical channel, YouTube channel on talking about different stats in cricket. I don't know, a lot of people will not follow, a passion of mine, but this is something that is very close to my heart. I can be a financial planner. I can open a coffee shop because I also love spending time with my family, and nothing to do with numbers or anything, but I would love to do that someday. And I love to travel as well. And I can be a mortgage agent, and I chose to be a mortgage agent. Now I can be a realtor as well because I love real estate, and but that actually takes away from traveling, because if you're a real estate agent, you cannot be a real estate agent sitting in Miami, but you can be a mortgage agent sitting in Florida, right? So that's where I chose being a mortgage agent. I can actually do this for Simran as well, just for a different context. She's into IT, I'm into marketing and research. Her day job was develop mobile apps and manage client expectations. That's what she did for a living for a very long time. And her three main top meta skills were that obviously she's good at app development, so that has to be one of the meta skills. But more importantly, she has great organization skills and has problem solving skills, which are really good things, not just as an app developer, but even if you are managing operations. And if we talk about what she absolutely loves, she loves building things, she loves teaching, she loves hosting family and friends, she loves traveling, she loves spending time with family, she loves cooking food. A lot of these loves are in personal life, because Simran is a very different person than who I am. I'm more driven, like professionally, she is more driven personally, but those are the things that she absolutely loves. So if you look at this slide, and again, if you're doing it for yourself, you just put it on the side. What is it that she can do? She can open an app development agency, but she's not really big at building teams and everything. So that was not a path, and that she always knew that it'll not be a path. She can, because she loves to teach, she can start a course on app development, and she has she has wanted to do that, has been wanting to do that for a very long time, but we have not just not got into it. She can be a CTO and head of ops, which is exactly what she is in Grow with Nav. She leads operations, she leads systems, and she absolutely loves that. Does she miss app development? Yes, but once she comes back from maternity leave, we'll actually correct that as well. She can be an event planner because she's very good at organization, she's good at problem solving, she can be a very good event planner. In fact, Grow Nation event, we hosted over 400 people. We have done so many events of 100 people plus, and everything has been done by Simran. So I know firsthand that she's amazing at planning events. She can open a restaurant because she loves hosting, she loves cooking food. So that's another path that we have. So again, if you do this exercise, you'll realize what you're good at already. And that can actually lead to a side hustle or a skill that you can leverage either in your job or start a side hustle. So now all this to summarize that what we need to do is, and you may already have this, but we need to learn one monetizable skill. It could be editing, sales, digital systems, scripting, finance, cooking. It could be fitness. For instance, you can be a fitness instructor or do personal trainings. So all of that, have one monetizable skill and use that to either build an internal promotion. So, you can actually take that certification that would help you get an internal promotion, or you can build a side hustle. I'll give an example here. So when I was in Walmart, we were actually building a presentation, and I got this idea, and I was already a YouTuber. I already knew how to, make videos. I got this idea that instead of presenting this as a slide, let's make a video out of it. Like a 2-minute video, very focused on the topic at hand and the ask being very clear. And I worked for 4 days in day and night to build that presentation into a video, like a 2-minute, explain a video. And that went so well that I'm pretty sure that I got promoted and I got a 20% hike just based on the name that I created for giving that idea and then delivering on that. So all those skills, my editing and my video skills actually helped me get an internal promotion. That's what I mean when I say, you get an internal promotion, or you upskill, you get a certification and then do that. I can actually start a side hustle with one of those monetizable skills, which has nothing to do with my job, but it's just a meta skill that I have. And I can create a client base just like I did, doing mortgages, because I'm good at branding, I'm good at, sales, marketing, and I'm good at building teams who can actually serve clients. So I can build a client base as well using this. The fourth thing that we'll talk about is how real estate is rigged in Canada, and I can't put it in milder words. The lesson that I learned is the game is rigged, so we need to play it strategically. And the reason why I'm saying that is that banks care more about keeping you in debt, because that's how they make money, than your dreams. You want to buy your dream home, banks would qualify you if for the maximum amount possible, and they would do and they would want to keep you in debt for the longest time possible, so that they can make money off you. Believe it or not, banks and governments are in it together. The government wants the prices to stay high. The home prices will not come down, and even though it has come down a little bit, it will not crash to like 80%, because most of these retirees, these old age people, they do not have any retirement funds, and their home is their retirement. And that's why the government cannot afford to have all these old age people homeless, on the streets, if the real estate prices go down. So all the supply gaps that have been created, all these, talks about, not enough homes being built, or not, enough single family homes being built. I think it's all deliberate, and whatever the government has to say to take your vote, it does not matter. It's all deliberate. Investment property in Canada does not make sense for most. In fact, investment property should not be bought, especially in Ontario and BC. I'll talk about the reasons. I've talked about these reasons in a bit as well. But the number one tip that I'll give you when it comes to real estate is it's okay to never buy a home, and there's nothing wrong. And I say this with no, sarcasm. I say this in all sincerity. Buying a home is not a compulsory thing, especially if you're not gonna retire in Canada. And if you already have an ancestral home in India, you don't need to buy real estate. You can just invest in the stock market. You can double and triple down, keep living on rent. And if you are not gonna retire in Canada, you can go to India and living in an ancestral home, or if you can invest in India, it'll probably serve you better if you understand how that works. But if you want to retire in Canada, then I would encourage you to buy your primary home, make it mortgage free. So buy a primary home, and we build a plan to upgrade, because obviously your first home is not a forever home. So we first need to upgrade, and then make a plan to how to be mortgage free. And all of my clients have a plan of being mortgage free 5 to 10 years early. I make sure that I personally do that and make that plan one-on-one with my clients. And we need to buy our first home only when we are ready, when we have a stable job, not in our first year for sure, because then we are doing it out of FOMO. But when we have a stable job, when we feel that we have the down payment, we have emergency fund, and we need to buy below our means. When you reach out to our team, it's not about how much you can be eligible for that a bank will give you, right? Go to a bank, get your eligibility. We'll tell you how much you can afford, because no two people are the same. Some people do not have obligation back in India or back home. They don't have to support their families back home. Some people have to do that. Therefore, affordability can be different from eligibility, and we need to look past our incomes. That's what our team does. If you are looking for a mortgage, you can actually book a call from the link in the description. Investment property, we do not, most of our clients are first time home buyers, and we actually do not serve, investors per se. If someone comes and they have a valid reason for buying, we'll help them. We can obviously do their mortgage and help them buy real estate, but that's not our focus. And the reason is that I don't believe in real estate in Canada, even though I own properties here, but I do not believe in real estate in Canada. Plus, I do not buy for equity. I will only buy if it cash flows, and that's why I have a cash flow investment property in a couple of areas where it's cash. It has to cash flow for me in order to make sense. Otherwise, we are working for that property, and the property is not working for us. So it's important that we understand that, and it's okay to not ever buy an investment. In fact, when I'm building a retirement plan with my clients, the mortgage-free retirement plan, we also talk about investments, and we never talk about buying another piece of real estate. And the reason is I don't believe in it. And if you have to buy it, then I have an entire course within Grow Nation that my client have access to buy real estate in US instead. And the fifth one, which is really important, probably the most important thing, is community over everything. And the lesson that I've learned, and I hope, I learned that when I was in Hong Kong as well, you won't make it alone. You need a community, and it's important that, we understand that most immigrants fail and go back because they've felt isolated, not because they were not making enough money or they did not have enough means or they were missing their family. It's because they felt isolated and alone. And it's the honest truth is that most people in their 30s, early 30s, late 20s, when they come to Canada, it's very difficult to enter an existing group or an existing like friend circle. It's difficult to make friends at this age. So immigrants fail because they feel isolated, and you are the average of 5 people around you. You get into bad company, and I'm not necessarily saying people who are doing drugs, but I'm talking about people who are always cribbing and complaining about Canada, and it's not adding any value. If I have a circle of business owners, I'll think like a business person. If I have a circle of people who are making $50,000 and the highest that they've ever made is $60,000-$70,000 in a year, I would not be able to learn beyond that. So it's not like people are not making more money. It's that our circle is not making enough money. Therefore, we are just missing out on things that we just don't know. So you are the average of 5 people around you, and which is where my takeaways from the last 5 years were that you need to attend meetups, you need to attend boot camps, you need to attend community events beyond their price, right? A lot of people think that, the boot camps that I used to do, the startup boot camps, I'll probably do that next year as well, or the networking events, $25 is a lot, $99 is a lot, but the amount of value that you get from the event is disproportionately higher than what you pay. Plus, the more important thing that people, completely underestimate is that you'll also be meeting 99 or, 50 or 70 other people who are like-minded, who paid for the same workshop, who have a common interest, and therefore you can be friends with them because they're as lonely as you are. Pay for events, masterminds, not just for the value, but to connect with like-minded people. The focus should be to connect with people so that you can all grow together. Joint donation, again, it's a plug here, but donation is and my inner circle of all mortgage clients, when they become clients, they close their properties, they come into Grow Nation, and clients become a community, and a lot of them are friends now, a lot of them are business partners now, a lot of them invest in properties together. One of them, two of them actually started a business together or thinking of starting a business together. They just support each other, and they found a community in Grow Nation, and that's something that I'm extremely passionate about. I know that people only grow in communities. They can't grow in isolation. Same goes for me, same goes for anyone, and which is why I created Grow Nation. Obviously, it's not open for all because I had to limit, because my time is limited. I actually give my personalized time. I make, like retirement and mortgage free plans for them. So I had to create that barrier that you can get into Grow Nation only when you get a mortgage, but that's not the only group that you have. You can join many masterminds. You can go to very cheap, even free events at times, but make sure that you're attending all of those and meeting as many people as possible. And if they say, oh, let's meet up for coffee, follow up with them. Oh, you said that we'll meet up for coffee. Let's meet for coffee. Follow up with them, and that's how you'll build relationships, and that's how you'll grow together. That's all I have for today. If you are 1 year into Canada or 10 years into Canada, it does not matter. If you want to build your wealth using real estate, stock market, or want to start a business, this channel is for you. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel and share this video with a friend who is also confused about what to do in Canada, having spent some time here. It might help them. That's all I have for today. मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए बाय बाय.